Signs, signs everywhere, signs. Signs for your business and signs for your ride. SignBro's is the place where we make your signs.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. There you go. Right on, Adrian.
Because we're pretty high, I was kind of low on that.
We always need a bass. Yeah. Good morning, we are the SignBroCast. We're all up in your business. We have a special guest today from the Blazing Tree Brewery, Mr. Adrian
Hello.
Gomez.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Adrian.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate
8
it.
o'clock in the morning talking about beer, right? Like that?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, a
I talk
six-pack.
about beer pretty much all day, every day. So.
The only time I drink beer this early is when I go camping, man.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But I actually went to your place a while back when I was passing out cards and I was noticing actually your logo. Your logo is very unique. Oh, it's okay.
Hey,
People are placing orders so early in the morning.
yeah, our logo, our logo is very detailed, and it all has to do with the tree because it's kind of like a family affair thing. So my father-in-law is one of my business partners, and so is one of his cousins, Marco, which is a fireman.
Oh, cool.
We all kind of started. There was more of us of his cousins that were doing it. We all started off in a garage over here by the Tierras.
Oh,
And
wow.
we were brewing like pretty much every weekend, once every weekend. And we always had beer accumulating. The neighbors would come by. Hey, what do you guys
Yeah.
doing?
Smells a little beery
yeah,
over
like,
here.
as soon as the garage door opened, the neighbors were walking by. You know, they were ready to try beer. You know, and it kind of just evolved from there. You know, I had just turned 21. I was learning about different styles of beer, you know, alcohol, stuff like that. I always grew up going to family parties where they always had like Bud Light, you know, Michelob Ultra, Budweiser and stuff like that. And I always wanted to try something different. For me, when I drink, I really don't like to drink to get drunk. Like,
Gotcha.
I really like to enjoy myself. I like to enjoy the different flavors. And if you, when you're drinking craft beer, you're not just drinking the same flavor every time. For me, it's I'm gonna try this beer or I'm gonna try that beer, because they all bring something unique to the plate. You know, some are more bitter than others, some are sweeter than others. You know, roastier, and that's kind of what got me into craft beer. Not to mention that my father-in-law was already really into craft beer as well. He was like a craft beer head from the 90s and whatever.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of like a hobby. We kind of, you know, started off all together. We would brew, always had beer. Then one day we were just like, we can do this. We have so much beer all the time, you know. We have the time, we have the space. Let's see what we can get off. You know, and by that time, Dead Beach had barely started when we decided, like, you know, let's do this too. You know, let's try to do this because we've been brewing already for a while.
He's one of your partners, right?
Yes, he's one of our partners.
Your father-in-law?
Yeah.
Wow.
Your father?
Yes, his father-in-law.
So you obviously got to get along pretty good.
Yeah, we get along. Yeah.
Suegro.
We get along.
Wow, interesting. Do you and the name Blazing Tree it was something you came up with yourself?
No, actually, I mean, we came up with it together, actually, because they've always had this this story about them growing up when they were kids. Well, I say they because not only did we started off this adventure with a couple more people, maybe there was 6 of us.
Wow.
And those were the guys that we were brewing every day there in the tierras and stuff. You know, some people dropped off because, you know, family, you know, going to school, things like that. So to this point now, it's only 3 of us. But at the beginning, yeah, we did start off with about 6 or 7 of us, constantly brewing, you know, feeding off of each other, seeing what kind of beers we like, don't like. And at the time, they were like a lot of cousins, so for us, it was all about family, you know, the tree,
Gotcha.
the family, you know.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the logo comes in.
Oh, okay,
I guess
cool.
it all ties around.
Nice.
Getting into long stories, but yeah, so that's where the tree comes in. Is we were gonna try to call it Burning Tree Brewery, but there is a like a rehab center in Austin somewhere that has the
Burning
same
Tree.
name.
That would be
And we
interesting.
were gonna, we're gonna be like, hey, you send us when you're done with them. We'll
That's
send them
yeah.
We'll send you our customers.
Yeah, exactly.
A cycle.
Yeah,
just
we'll,
like
we'll cycle it over. But no, we felt like if we reach out to them and ask them, they're gonna definitely say no.
Say
So
no,
we're like,
yeah.
let's change the name to
Gotcha.
Blazing Tree. So the story behind the burning tree is when these cousins would go camping a lot when they were younger, and they would go out to the Sierra Madres in Mexico, deep into the woods, and they always had this grandfather they all looked up to because he was like a really hardcore vaquero, old school
Gotcha.
Mexican cowboy.
Yeah.
And they were always following him around, watching him doing whatever he was doing. So this time he was, back then, you would start fires with like, it was like gasoline, like petrol or something very heavy. And so their grandfather was starting this fire with this petrol. And obviously, if you hold it up for too long, that's gonna come back to you. So it came back to his can. He looked at it and he kind of just tucked it.
Tossed it.
And it ended into one of the like bigger trees that were there.
Cocktail.
Blazing Tree.
They said that, straight face, he was just like, hey, turn it out. And he just walked away and left all the little kids just like throwing dirt at it, like, trying to get their water and throwing dirt, So like it was their moment in their life where they had to kind of like get up and learn, like, you better do this because if not, this whole side of the fire is gonna catch up, kind of thing. So in this business, I guess it's kind of like a learning process for us too. We jumped into it and we're gonna try our best to control that
And
fire.
you've been there how long?
We've been in that spot for 4 years now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, actually more, 6 years, because before then, we had that spot because they were using it for something else, which was rarely getting used. So we moved in and we, started brewing there for more space. And then eventually we were like, well, we can change it from from what it was to the brewery.
It's horrible.
Gotcha, cool. And you've been at this location. You went from the garage to this location you're at.
Yes.
Okay.
Straight there.
Cool.
Yeah. So we figured these garages because in other cities, states like Colorado, California, Albuquerque, even if you notice, if you go to most of their craft brewing facilities, they're in like garage style facilities, kind of hidden and stuff like that. So for us, it was just it's easier.
Yeah.
Because of the way we were starting so small, and it didn't seem any different than any of the other cities and how they were starting and stuff. So it seemed like an okay place to be.
Gotcha.
Because I know that's one of the one of the complaints of some of our patrons, that's like, oh, well, you guys are like hidden back here, like how do we even supposed to know? You gotta look us up.
Look for
There's a will, there's a way.
look for the burning tree outside.
Can you explain to us the process of how long it
just
takes?
gonna go
and-
there. Yeah.
Definitely. Let me just make sure this turns.
Oh
down,
no, bro!
'cause I don't
And just to let you know, it's a hot day. We've been having flies, so if you see us doing this, it's not that we stink or anything like that. It's just stupid flies, man.
It's happening all over El Paso, not just
not
Cyprus.
just us, not just us.
The plague.
The brewing process. So brewing process starts with grain and water. So basically what we're doing is we mill a bunch of grain, and we basically weigh it out, different styles of grains, different colors. We'll weigh it out, mill it, and then we basically make like a giant oatmeal, which is what we call a mash. So this giant oatmeal is basically
How giant is it?
It's the one that we use is like a giant pot. Like it's pretty big.
But you're talking about now for your big brews. But when you guys got started,
when we started?
Yeah, you're talking about like a little 5-gallon
Little pots.
Yeah, so it was like maybe at the most 6 to 8 gallon pot. A little thing like that on a burner. Actually, I used to work where I would teach people how to make beer at home. So
nice.
that's kind of where I started. Is like the simple stuff.
Yeah.
For me, the big equipment, it's like that's fancy for me. You know what I mean? Like
You're
when
more
we started,
comfortable
where
with
our
the
roots
smaller.
were- yeah, exactly. The igloo cooler, you know, So basically, what you do, you extract the sugar out of that grain, out of that giant oatmeal. You separate all that sugar from the actual oaty part, the grainy part. When you separate that out, you're gonna separate it at a certain temperature. Certain temperatures because that extracts converts and extracts the grain better. Then from there, we put that wort is what we call it when we extract it out of the oatmeal. We put it into a boiling kettle, which is the pot. From the pot, depending on the recipe, we'll boil it for 60 minutes. So once it starts that raging boil, you'll see the little the water jumping up and down. We'll start our timer. Sometimes we'll introduce hops right at the 60 minutes, sometimes not, it just depends. So the 60 minutes we'll be introducing not only just hops, other flavors that we need to add, many fruits, peels, any spices.
Wow.
From there we have to like rapidly cool it down from that pot, from whatever boiling point it is, wherever you're at. Yeah, it's like here's like 215, 220, somewhere around there. We have to get it down to, you know, 65, 70, 75
Like
at the most. Fast. Like as fast as we can. The reason why you do it so fast is because of the fact that if it sits there for too long, you can start introducing bacterias or any off flavors that you don't want in your beer. So we rapidly cool it, get it into the fermenter as fast as we can, introduce the yeast as fast as we can, and shut it so that way it's
Completely sealed.
yes, completely sealed, isolated, on its own, doing its own thing. Well, actually, not completely sealed. I'm sorry. At the
You
top,
need a little bit of air?
Yeah. You need air to escape and not come back in. So what we do is we do airlocks. Basically, our airlock is giant tubes that go into buckets of star sand, which is sanitized water, like very acidic water. So that way, if bugs ever try to get into there, the bugs will die in the acid water, and they won't be able to go up any of the tubes or whatever.
Wow.
So,
You have any for flies? You should have brought some for flies.
Some of that.
actually, it's
Some
weird
acid.
though. Actually, that acid, sometimes it does attract those flies, and
attracts them.
Attracts them.
they'll just go in there and die immediately. Sometimes.
Wow.
It's weird. But yeah, if we don't release that pressure, eventually it'll get too high. Sometimes it depends on your fermenter. It can explode as well.
Oh wow.
Great.
So yeah, so basically when the yeast is eating the sugar, it's shooting out CO2 as well as alcohol. So it's converting all that stuff. So the CO2 is just expanding, and you need somewhere for that to bleed out
To release.
and not let any air back in.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's what's
There's
going on.
there's a massive science behind it,
It's
obviously,
like
man.
these are like
Yeah.
scientists, like
Yeah,
Breaking
mad
Bad scientists.
scientists.
Yeah, it kind of is. I really like science growing up, and food. I love food a lot. Like
Perfect combination.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
So it was
And you like drinking beer.
yeah, so it was a perfect jump to making beer.
Did you guys have to change your process when you went from the garage to because now you're serving it to people, so it has to be like,
Yeah, so we've changed multiple times. Every time you change your equipment, you have to relearn it.
Oh yeah.
but still your flavor's the
Yeah.
same?
Yeah, I mean,
You
yeah,
have to
we try
eventually
yeah,
learn
you
how to
have
get it there.
Adapt to
Yeah,
it.
you have to adapt to it. You have to.
Was it
'Cause it's
add a
all
little
about-
bit more sugar sometimes, or
Yes,
less
exactly.
sugar, or
And
water,
that
or
has to
whatever.
do with efficiency. So you have to figure out how efficient the equipment that you have is in front of you, and you have to. So let's say at the garage we were getting out, let's say 72, 73% of the sugars out of that grain. So now that we moved to bigger equipment, there's recirculation going on now.
Yeah.
There's
Different.
more pressure on
Steel material
stuff.
and all
Yeah, better materials and stuff.
Yeah.
Now we're getting like 80%.
In the garage, you were
efficiency.
filtering it with like a sock. And now you're doing it
They look like socks, but yeah, you're
the fancy
It's a
hose.
concept.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, you went from caveman stuff to these big boy stuff. So your recipes do have to change in amounts, amount of hops, amount of grains. So it all has to do and works with percentages.
Is this like can one person do everything, or do you have to have constant people doing everything? Or
oh no, yeah, you can do this on your own at home.
Nice, okay.
Definitely, yeah.
But I mean, and it's in your where you have it now set up
Do you have like a lot of workers stirring the pots and stuff? Or?
So we have definitely it's way harder now in this volume for a person to do it by themselves. But right now we have 3 brewers. At first we were doing all the brewing ourselves, but I mean we have
need some help.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff that we have to take care of, not only in the back and the front, and then some of us have other businesses as well too, and then just a lot of stuff that we have to take care of because now we have the food truck and we have to move around for that. But yeah, we have 3 brewers. For the most part, there's only 2 there at a time on the regular brew days, but then there's certain days where we double batch where they'll have to brew twice to fill up a fermenter, which is a larger fermenter. On those days we'll have 3 brewers. Okay. And usually we'll brew with 3 brewers at least once or twice a week. The rest of the week we'll have just the 1 or 2.
Oh, okay, good.
But those machines are always working pretty much every day.
Yeah. The only days that they're not working are Saturday and Sunday, and sometimes they are working on Saturday. It just depends.
Depends if you have like events coming up or stuff like
definitely,
that.
Yeah.
I asked because you had me worried when you said about the exploding part. So I don't know if I got to say, okay, I'm dropping the hops now, so watch make sure
different color.
Make sure.
No. That exploding thing would only happen like over a long period of time of it being sealed. But yeah, no, there is a lot of chances of getting hurt. You're working with really hot boiling water.
Yeah.
Boiling wort. And then these pumps are really strong pumps. So if you're not paying attention and someone starts a pump over here.
Oh wow.
And somehow there was air stuck in the line over here, and
safety.
That bubble reaches that hose over here, and you just get a water willy, with hot water. So
So now where you're located at, obviously you have a bar so people can actually go in and get it there on the spot, and you've actually expanded from my understanding to having a more open area for music and stuff like that.
Yes. So nice. At first it was just for the people that were going there from. When we first opened the doors, they'll remember that it was, it was just this little room. And yeah, it was a small, I'm not going to even say not even a quarter of this room that we're in right now.
Wow, nice.
We had a bar and we had like 3 tables and that's about it.
Wow.
And now we have the suite right next door as well, so we opened that up. There's the big seating area there, as well as that we have a seating area in the back, so that way if you because before, if you wanted to smoke a cigarette or something, you have to leave your beer at the table because you can't walk outside with the beer. Yeah. So now in the back we have a garage area where we taper it off, and they can actually stand far enough outside to actually still drink their beer and smoke their cigarette.
The garage open thing?
Yeah, we have
area style.
And we have these gates, these like accordion style gates that we will put up on the weekends, and they open up pretty large area, and they'll go out there and they'll smoke their cigarette, drink their beer, and we'll even put cornhole out there and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we're expanding slowly. We're hoping to expand again soon, and it's just little by little. We started off really small, really. We're all local dudes from the valley.
Gotcha.
Right on.
Well, trying to make beer.
Which high school?
I went to Del Valle, and the other guys went to Bel Air.
The last 3 guests have been
Del Valle. A bunch of Valley kids. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's
I got a question for you as far as the process goes on because there's your lighter beers that you have, and then you have some stuff that's really dark, man. Not particularly my style. I've tasted them, but the process of making it, is it like the lighter stuff is obviously you stop it early, and I don't know, but the darker it is, the longer it's staying, the longer it's brewed. Is that how it works, or not necessarily?
More power it has.
So the color has a lot to do with the ingredients you're putting into the beer.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So when you're initially deciding on your recipe and the style of beer that you're making, you have certain grains already in mind to try to stay the style. Obviously, at Blazing Tree, we we're El Paso style. We like to say if you have an idea, we'll try to make it. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So.
Yeah. Oh.
Definitely, yeah. We try to innovate. We try not to stay in a box because all of it's already been made. So why are you gonna make it again? We're not here to reinvent the wheel. We're here to make unique stuff.
Cool.
Some people don't like that, but who cares?
If somebody wanted to make their own flavor, how long does it take? It's not like a buffet where you could go up and put these ingredients and wait for your beer.
So we have a local place. Shout out to El Paso Home Brewing Supply Company.
Nice.
That's where I used to work. So if you go in there, it's like a buffet for brewers. Okay, so you go in there.
Cool.
They have a whole wall set up, different bins, different shades of grains, from light to dark, from roasty to zesty to caramelly to sweet,
spicy, maybe.
And
even.
that's what they
smoky. There's even smoky.
They specialize in nothing but
everything that you need
the
to brew is there at
ingredients.
that place. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you're a home brewer and you wanna see the buffet of what you can do, that's the place to go. So so like he was saying is that the grain has a lot to do with the color. So if you're making a light beer, a lot of base grain like 2-row, Pilsen, like a lot of the beers that you hear are Pilsner beers, is because Pilsner is such a really light grain. It's basically, in the color spectrum, it's like one of the lightest of all the grains. Then from there you'll move up to like 2-row. Then from there you'll move up to some of your more like carapils or caramel malts, and then from there you go into your roasted malts, like biscuit malts, roasted barleys, black malts, chocolate and coffee malts, different stuff like that. And you'll see the difference. They change in color and texture, and they get darker. And this has to do with basically they're getting these grains and they're cooking them, they're roasting them, baking them, until they get that flavor that you want out of them. And then that's when, obviously we don't do that. That comes from the companies already. Yeah. And we just choose, you have this grain, we'll take that grain, this grain.
So when you make a batch, what do you guys call it, a batch?
Yeah, a batch.
When you make it, so if you're making, let's say, a lighter beer, do you have to, when it's time to make a darker one or whatever, do you have to clean everything out to be able to start all over again? Or can you still continue that with the lighter, or how does that work?
No, definitely not. No, so every time we brew a beer, it gets cleaned out.
Right.
Top to bottom, cleaned out. It gets cleaned before and it gets cleaned after.
Wow.
So before, we'll sanitize it extensively, and then after we do also a like a soap version of the sanitizer, and then we do the sanitizer again.
Wow.
So that's every beer.
For every flavor, every beer, every flavor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even if it's a dark to a dark, we'll still do that.
Okay.
Now, if it's a double batch day, which is where we're doing the same beer back to back, sometimes we'll just throw a quick sanitizer through it.
Sure.
Nothing super extensive, but it's the same beer going in. So it's just like really quick sanitizer. Do the 5-minute, which is the contact time for that sanitizer to work, and then the next batch going back in.
And one batch makes how much beer actually?
So for us, it just depends on your size. For us, we make 40 gallons at a time.
40 gallons.
And on the double days, it's 80 gallons.
And how long does it take from the time you start cleaning to the time you're done with one batch? That's how many hours you're talking about, or is that a day, or?
It just depends on the recipe as well, but give or take 1, 2, 3, like 5-6 hours.
5-6 hours.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And then after those, that's he said from cleaning from the beginning to end. When after that can you drink it?
Oh yeah,
That's what he wants to know.
Hey, come on.
No, yeah. So you're not done there. Actually, from there, you're gonna let it sit for another 2 weeks.
Oh, man, forget it.
Yeah. So you have to-
That's a long process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So most of the time, it's just sitting there doing its thing. Sometimes you'll have to stop it to add like what we call dry hops, where we'll add extra hops depending on the beer.
How do you know if you need to add extra?
It just depends on the recipe.
But can you like use dip in and try it, or you don't touch it?
So some beers you don't want to touch because you already know what's going on, so you just kind of want to leave it alone.
Wow.
There's some experimental beers where we're barely making them and we're like, let's see where we're at, and so there's this thing that we call a thief, which is basically where we can steal some beer from it, like a little taster, like a little dropper, and you'll taste it and it'll be like, oh yeah, it's good. We can add whatever we needed to add now, or whatever fruit we were gonna add to it, or
At the end, just to give it like a little hint of the fruit or whatever it is.
Yeah, so the last time we really did that was when we were making on Valentine's Day. We made a light beer, but it was with coffee flavors in it. So it was super light. Color was like if you were drinking, maybe like a Dos Equis, but we had like coffee flavor into it. The way we did that is we dry hopped with coffee beans. So we, while it was fermenting, we put some coffee beans in the fermenter, and none of the color, but all the flavor. So it was amazing. Yeah, it was great.
What's the oddest recipe you guys done?
The oddest recipe.
I've heard of some where they make them taste like cookies.
You're gonna freak out. Maple bacon beer.
Bacon.
So we actually that just finished about a week or two ago.
Wow.
Maple bacon.
Yeah,
So
so
we
we
have
did
another
that
week
for.
before we try it?
Huh?
We have another week before we can try it?
No. It finished like.
Oh, it finished.
Yeah, like they drank it all.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah, it's done. The keg's floating. No, but we're gonna do them. A lot of those beers we bring them back.
You just kind of experiment with them a little bit, see how people respond.
Even if we don't like consistently bring it back during the year, like some of those beers we'll bring back the next year. So like if it was a Valentine's beer, it's gonna come back for Valentine's.
Yeah,
if it was a Father's Day beer or whatever, we might bring it back.
But even then, when you're experimenting with stuff, I mean, like you said, the coffee beer. Now, how do you guys even determine? Okay, of all the coffee beans, which ones are we gonna try? That's all.
Well, yeah. So it's a lot of going out and making connections.
Gotcha. Sure.
So what I did is I went to Building 6, which is shout out to Building 6. They're like about a block or two away on James Watt from our business. And they're a local roaster, so they roast coffee in-house. They roast their own beans there in the back. They have like this giant roaster flamethrower thing. If you go in there, it's pretty cool.
I think
like
I've been there actually.
Yeah, it's really nice place. An older lady and her husband work it, and she was a very, very nice lady.
Nice.
I was sitting there for maybe about like an hour with her, talking to her about different style of beans, and she really recommended the Guatemala Mexican brand. Ooh. So I went half and half Guatemala Mexican because it had a lot of the chocolate notes that I was trying to go for. So some of the other coffees were a little bit more bitter, and these were more on the chocolate end.
Wow!
And you did that for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, so we did that for Valentine's Day. We called that one the Cupid's Golden Arrow.
And what you think about the idea of using her beans for beer?
Oh yeah,
she loved it.
She loved it. Yeah, she was like, "Oh, that's awesome." She was like, "Yeah, that's great." Yeah, so it came out great. People loved it. I mean, it couldn't stay on the shelf long enough.
That's a great way to network with other companies as well, too. Man.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah,
wow.
really
I have an idea for an El Paso beer, man. You make it taste a little bit like Chico's Tacos, like little.
Some tomato soup or something.
Yeah, there you go, man. Tell us.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, go ahead and tell us about what you brought here, man. You brought a little 6-pack with the.
Oh yeah, so
we have the flies.
Yeah, they love the beer. Borrachos. So
bar flies.
Yeah, I think I brought them with me. So the coconut, we have the coconut milkshake, which is our
coconut milkshake.
So I don't know if you guys know IPAs. So this is a new style of IPA. It's called a
break down IPA.
Yeah, so IPA. IPA has a very rich history of IPAs. IPAs started because back in the day when they were shipping in the oceans and moving
barrels and all.
Yeah, moving things from from different lands to different lands. Like basically, in order to travel this distance in water, they had to have preservatives, right? The beer has to have preservatives in order to stay fresh,
Gotcha.
not collect those bacteria. And hops is a natural preservative for the beer.
It's a natural one. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, because I mean it's a plant, so it and gives the beer flavor and it preserves the beer. So basically, what it does is the more hops in it, the more acidic, the more the less likely that a bacteria is gonna get into it. So that's how IPAs came into existence back in the day. Now we just do different stuff to it. So this is I say this is a new style because about maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago, this style came into play. Is they noticed when you started adding hops early in the fermentation, the yeast was also starting to eat the oils of that hops as well, and it would leave behind like kind of like a creamy look and texture to it. So that's where the Milkshake IPAs came from. So it's like it's a sweeter IPA. It's not as bitter as a normal IPA. So it's kind of like an in-between. It's where a lot of people start nowadays when they're gonna like venture into the IPAs. So that's a good place to start if you do want to go into that.
Interesting.
Coconut milkshake. So we add coconut to that one. Then we have the strawberry Kohls. So we just, like I said, we try to start with traditional recipes. So we started off with like a regular Kohls, and then we had to add what we want to. I mean, a lot of Kolsches are made. That's a normal style that you see all around the world, and we wanted to make it something unique to us. So we added some strawberries to it. That's a light beer, basically. Kolsch is a really, really light
Interesting.
beer. White
That's
Rabbits.
7%.
Yeah.
Wow, that's strong.
Yeah. So yeah, because of the strawberries we add to it. So yeah, that beer starts off at like a 5%, and then we add a lot of strawberries to it, and it brings it up.
Are you allowed to make any percentage, or does the city tell you guys have to stop at 10 or whatever?
Is that a city thing or
Yeah,
a government?
like
that's
a state
it's more
or
of a state
government.
thing. Yeah, government thing. So yeah, I think our grain bill has to stay above a certain percent compared to fruits, as well as our ABV can't go above like a 15 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, which is still pretty high. I don't think we'll ever get to 15.
Can people walk in and get something like that, like a sampler pack type of thing?
Yeah.
Variety.
So we just started canning about a month ago.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so we have cans. You come in, pick whatever whatever beers you like. You see the beer, and we'll seal.
Oh,
seal
you
them
create
there
their
for-
own
yeah.
6-pack.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
seal them
pretty
there
cool.
for you. Yeah, so I sealed these myself, and yeah,
that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, so it's a can seamer that we bought. They come in because a lot of people they have growlers, but they don't carry them around as much. So we thought, for the people that don't carry their growlers and they want to take something home.
What's
we have
a growler?
cans. Basically, it's a giant glass bottle.
Oh,
A refillable.
Maybe next time I could bring you guys some. Basically, you refill. You could go around town. You don't even have to just take it to
Like
the house. You could
like
go
a
around
Brutus glass or something? Or?
Kinda, yeah.
like
it's
one of those that you buy at
jar.
7-Eleven you can take with you everywhere. And just
A big gulp.
yeah, big gulp, yeah.
One of those
Refilled.
No, yeah,
Nonsense.
so it's like a little jar, like I don't know, back in the day, those jars that you would
When they
see
have the little latches.
with the XXX. Oh yeah, there's some with
There's some
latches
with
too.
latches.
Like in the cartoons where you would see the
Poison or whatever.
the
Oh,
it's a jar like that, similar to that.
Latches.
Top.
Yeah, there's some that have that, and then you kind of clamp it.
Yeah, they're like metal. Yeah, basically you're sealing because you have to seal it. Yeah.
So you can lock it so nobody steals it or something. A little alarm.
That's it. Yeah, you don't want no one
So
steal your
nobody
beer.
steals. Like what? Latches. Okay, wow.
Yeah,
very
it just kind of seals the top.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have a little cork or just a little rubber.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's like a plastic with a rubber gasket in it,
Yeah.
and it sucks it in.
That's
yeah.
some serious. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because when you package a beer or you put a beer in a can or a growler, you want to make sure that there's still enough CO2 in it. That way it pressurizes.
Gotcha.
Because not only is the CO2 helping it stay bubbly for you so it could taste good and feel good in your mouth, but it's also preserving it too as well. So
Interesting.
Is it a long process to can it?
No. To can it is basically sanitize the can, sanitize the top, let it do the disinfecting for the whatever
So the customer waits there as you can it? Oh.
Yeah, they'll watch us can it in front of them. We sanitize it, put a little bit of CO2 in it so that way it can kind of float in there, fill it up, put the top on there, and then seal it right in front of them.
I think it's a cool feature. I've never heard of anybody being able to do that, and as you're waiting for them, pick your flavors and make your own 6-pack.
Yeah.
Wow,
so there's a couple of us brewers that are starting to do that now. Cool. So yeah, hopefully one day we'll get to the point where it's already happening behind the scenes, in a big machine.
Do you see when it comes to like women and men that they have that particular? Do women tend to gravitate toward lighter beers and guys toward darker, or it's just everybody there's no really?
Well, the palates are different. I know that's how mine is like that. I don't particularly like the dark stuff. I'll taste it and I'll try it, and maybe if it's good enough, I'll have a full one. It's just not my style.
Yeah,
I'm just a Miller Lite.
You'll see that. Not really. It's not really between genders. It's more between beginners and.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I'm not gonna say beginners. I'm saying people that. It's people that haven't, tried to venture out into craft beer, or people that have just know, Bud Light, Budweiser, Michelob Ultra.
Yeah. Gotcha. I was just curious.
They like to. They're used to the light stuff, so they tend to gravitate to the light stuff at first. And then every once in a while, when I see a new person, I'll be like, "Hey, have you tried this? Or do you like this?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, I like that." Well, you might like this. So,
there you go. Gotcha.
And that's how you kind of gotta coax them into it.
Coax.
I've had a lot of experience in doing that. Because my dad, when I was growing up, and my family, most of my family, that's all they would drink is light beer and stuff. So now you give my dad the heaviest IPA and he'll down it like if it's water. Yeah, like so.
Really?
So
he's just gravitated to that.
Eventually, you kind of get your palate close to to that level. You know what I mean? Because
get used to it.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of very like coffee style beers where like heavy coffee, heavy roastiness, and then there's some beers that are like heavy IPAs where it's like really high bitter, super citrus, like if you're, like if you got a grapefruit in your mouth or whatever, and some people don't like that, but eventually when you're drinking different styles of beers, you get to the point where you get to understand the flavor, and just like in real life, I guess there's people that like sour stuff and there's people that don't, things like that.
Yeah, like you said, everybody's palate is
different.
And it probably affects the way too what you eat too as well, because you guys serve food there, right?
Yes.
So you probably recommend certain beers with certain foods and stuff like a wine.
Like a wine.
Yeah, a lot of the meatier stuff, like the burgers for sure. We like to pair with some of the darker stuff, or even like the bare knuckles. I mean, it goes with everything, but there are certain stuff that'll bring out the characters, like if you're having a steak at home, definitely get like a white rabbit or a pecan porter or something like that.
Interesting.
The red meat and the pecan porter for some reason just goes really good together. Yeah, I don't know.
I like to do that.
Yeah, or if you're having some kind of like ceviche at home, I love to get IPAs, citrusy style IPAs. Any kind of fish. I like to pair with IPAs or even like Hefeweizen. Sometimes I'll drink a.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, so there's different opportunities for different things.
And do you have any your version of micheladas, the red beers here that you guys make already?
No, we don't. Everyone keeps asking for that, so I think we're gonna have to. I think that's a lot of El Pasoans are looking
like a red
for
beer style.
Yeah, red beers.
And what about like now that it's real popular is the seltzer stuff? Seltzers.
That seems like a whole different. I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
Yeah. The thing is, I really need to.
Experiment
the seltzer. Yeah.
Is it a completely different process to make that? I would think it would be.
I think so. I think it still has to be a certain amount of grains, because there are certain companies of the seltzers that they're using just vodka and like water and stuff like that. But I think for a brew pub to actually do it, it would have to be a certain percentage of beer.
And that's kind of fairly new, isn't it? Those seltzers.
Yeah.
Are they catching on pretty good? Or
I think they are. I don't know. Really? I have a lot of cousins that are always bringing that ranch water over to parties. And I'm like, what the heck?
That's not allowed in my house.
There's some that are okay. Like I tried this lime with something, but I mean it's that michelada flavor that you're really getting from it.
yeah. And what about like that? Because he was asking about the chelada style, but what about like the limón y sal?
Limón y sal.
You don't have something like that?
We did something. So we tried to do something like that for Cinco de Mayo. We tried to do
nice.
a jalapeno lime beer. We would like to try to do it again in the future. Obviously, it's going to be totally different from what we did.
Why is that?
It came out okay, but I didn't. I'm really hard on myself. I really don't like.
But what was it that you didn't like?
I feel like it could have had a little bit more mouthfeel into it. It was really like super light, and then it just kind of had a little bit of lime into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Add a little bit more lime or something.
Yeah, something. Maybe something to get the texture a little bit up or something. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that you could play with in recipes.
But you can get that same exact recipe and give it to him, and they may love it.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah, that is very
That's
true.
the weird call to make. Do you guys make notes of all this stuff too? Oh, by the way, this one needs maybe more lime. That's a
Definitely.
big thick notebook.
Yeah, we do, and we'll always be shooting off of each other. Once a recipe hits to where it's like, just
perfect.
Alone, we laminate it, we put it in the book, and it's good to go. But when we're starting off certain recipes, it's like we don't ever adjust like big amounts. You always want to adjust very little, because if you're starting to adjust big amounts, then you don't know what you
What you put in there.
Yeah, so you want to adjust a little bit at a time, one ingredient at a time, one thing at a time.
Wow.
Yeah, because eventually you're gonna be like, oh shoot, what did I do? I want to get back to where I was, but now I'm way over here. You know.
Started adding a bunch of
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of it's a long process, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, the breweries here, is it a very cutthroat kind of business? I mean, do people come in and like you guys check out each other's products and just kind of be aware what's just not to steal ideas, but just to be aware, hey, oh, that's interesting or something like that. I'm just curious.
It shouldn't be cutthroat. It shouldn't be cutthroat, guys.
No, it shouldn't. I mean, you guys should all. I mean, I'm sure you get along. I'm sure you know other brewers around town.
Yeah.
You guys probably. Well, I would like to think that you guys get along.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of great guys out there. Definitely. The other day, Gabe from Dead Beach was over at Blazing Tree.
Nice.
Very cool dude.
Yeah.
Very cool people. All from Dead Beach. Always been helping us out. Always comes in.
Nice.
Talks to us about our beer. We talk to them about their beer.
Cool.
No criticizing and all that.
No. I mean, even if it does happen in the background, I mean,
It's for the better.
it's Gabe is such an awesome, cool dude. Like he's always willing to work with people and stuff like that. So he's really cool. He's always in there. Gustavo from Old Sheepdog is really nice, cool man. Like a lot of these people I know from when I was working at El Paso Home Brew Shop. So I most of the time was the front line of them getting their recipes together.
So you knew them from them buying their products.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I have that connection with them as well, which I do cherish, because I my time learning how to make beer and teaching other people how to make beer, or just so like a lot of people would think that they were coming in and I was teaching them, but we were learning together a lot of the times. Yeah. So experience comes with a lot of conversing, talking to each other, and hey, you tried that hop? Yeah, but I tried it at this time and it kind of gave me this flavor, and you're like, oh shoot, don't do that. So we
even feed off each other's ideas and thoughts.
There's so many different combinations and different ingredients that you can use that you need that. And there's so much new things coming out too, like this year's new crop is this, and it gives you these flavors and that flavors.
Try this.
Or like there's big innovations happening right now in yeast as well, and different yeast companies coming out, and did you try this brand of yeast? Fun. And it's like I tried it. It really dried my beer out really well. I loved it, and like, oh shoot, well I don't want to dry beer, so I might go somewhere else.
Gotcha.
So I mean, it was good for him, but it might not be good for me at that moment for that one beer or whatever. I might come back later on if I want to get a beer like that or whatever. But so just learning there's new systems coming out like every day, all-in-one systems where you can do that all at home. Because craft beer was kind of like, I guess like the food trucks back in the day was kind of like a thing that was only happening in certain places.
It's coming out little by little.
Yeah, now it's huge. So there's a lot of, with more eyes on it, there's a lot more innovation going on. And there's just more room for all of us to grow. I think that if we all, just band together, and it's not more so the breweries. The breweries, we all talk to each other. We all
good.
We all, on good terms. I have nothing to say, any bad things to say about any breweries. A lot of the times it's the customers,
Yeah, gotcha.
They come and trying to cause rifts.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that over there. They were doing that.
No, it's like get out of here with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Man.
it's I like to stay neutral. I have nothing but good things to say about the other breweries. They all have their own unique style or what they're doing.
There you go.
Or how they're approaching the brewing business. Some people are more traditional than others. I know a lot of the customers that like the traditional beers, like where it has to have this amount and this amount of this and this amount of that. Is like, go to the grocery store and buy that. It's already been made.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You can get a beer imported from Germany if you want
For it to taste exactly the same way.
The same way that you had it in Germany, you can import it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have our own style.
Gotcha.
We are El Paso. We want to learn from our people
There you go.
what they want. We're coming up with a guayaba beer.
Oh,
nice.
So, different things like that. We're learning from our community. We want it to be something that they can come and try. That's very unique. We want it to be very unique. We don't want to be the same.
Sure.
And it kind of like, that's the only, like how you were talking about, is there like bad blood in the? It's not between the brewers and stuff.
Good.
It's between the people that are fighting like for the styles or whatever.
Gotcha.
And it's like,
Okay.
Yeah.
if you don't like it, then you don't have to badmouth us.
Gotcha.
Just don't try it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
Because everyone has a different palate. Like what some people might like, other people won't.
Sure.
Like, I mean, there's a difference between, obviously an infected or bad beer, and there's a difference between a beer that you just don't like the style. So that's the difference.
Interesting. Wow. Very
Yeah,
cool.
that's real cool,
I learned
man.
a lot.
Yeah, I did too. I did. Well, it's good to see that there's like a science behind it, and you got it, man. Or you're learning it.
Yeah.
You're not ever
Now I'm
gonna get it.
craving-
You're gonna keep on learning it, man. Yeah.
I'm craving maple bacon now.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I'm gonna go and give your stuff a shot, man.
Cool. Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely
Really
stop by.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Plus, you have music there as well sometimes. What's your music schedule like? Thursday, Friday, Saturdays? Friday, Saturdays?
No, so we're trying to have bands for this month of July on Fridays.
Cool.
So I think this Friday we do have a band as well.
Cool.
And next Friday for sure. But it's just kind of a thing that we just started right now.
Gotcha.
It's summer. It's nice outside.
Sure.
Take advantage.
So you got the
Yeah,
drinks, the
and
food, and music as well.
Yes,
Right on.
definitely,
Cool.
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, the food we started because I guess during COVID you had to have food, so you couldn't get COVID. So
Yeah.
So you couldn't get COVID.
shout out to El Paso City.
That's my kind of vaccine.
For making these
Became a
laws.
restaurant real quick.
But yeah, so we had to learn real quick on how to.
It's you have to hire,
Yeah,
bring in a
it's
cook
crazy.
and to make a kitchen. And, yeah. I got one more question for you, man. Do you have any of your stuff out, like in any restaurants and stuff
Nice.
like that? And
Yeah.
where can we find that stuff?
Yes, definitely. So we do have it in different places. We have it like at the Wing Shack. We have it all.
Oh, cool.
Most of the B50s, the B52s, all those
Cool.
places.
Nice.
We have it at, where else do we have it? We have like 40 different accounts. So we're
Nice.
partnered.
Cool,
We're
cool.
partnered with LNF, LNF Distributing.
Okay.
Nice.
So I mean, they do work with Budweiser, but they are some local guys. They're from LNF is from the the southwest style side of Texas, and they've done a lot of stuff with smaller breweries out here in Texas, and we like what they're doing, and they're helping us distribute our beer out to different restaurants and bars and stuff.
Very cool.
Once we get a bigger system, definitely you'll probably see us way more out there. But yeah, it's kind of selective right now. The bars and restaurants are fighting for our kegs and stuff, which is a good thing. But it's kind of a bad thing because I feel bad. I'm like, I just want everyone to have the beer. Just have the beer. Just take the beer. Here, get it. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah,
nice.
But yeah, you could definitely find it out there, and you just kind of have to look for it
Ask
for
for
now.
it.
Yeah,
And ask for it. Ask for it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where can
Blazing
they-
Tree
Where
Brewery.
can they find you on the social media?
On Facebook and on Instagram, and as well as we also have a website. So Blazing Tree Brewery.
Blazing Tree.
Yeah,
Nice and
El
simple.
Paso. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool, right on. Cool. And one quick question for me. On the food trucks, do you guys do the beers on the food trucks as well?
No, so the food truck is our food truck. It's just one food truck, but the food truck, it doesn't go around. It stays there.
Oh, okay,
cool.
gotcha.
Yeah. So.
I was thinking alcohol came to you. I'm like, whoa.
Oh no, that would be cool. That's something that we were actually looking into. Cause I believe in California, I was out there, and I don't know if it was I forgot what brewing company it was. It was like Red Cart or something. But basically, they had like a food truck style.
Brewery.
Yeah.
Brewery on wheels.
Yeah.
Around Wells, wow.
And I was like, oh shoot, that would be awesome in El Paso. Yeah. I don't know how that would
Breaking
work.
Bad beer style.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you.
Well,
Learned
thank
a
you,
lot,
guys.
man.
Thank you
Learned a lot, and
cool.
and I hope you guys get all over the city, man.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I hope all of us. I hope all the
Absolutely.
breweries out
Yeah.
there. There's only at the time that we, like maybe this time last year, there was only about 4 of us. Now there's about 6 or 7 of us. But there's a lot of space, man. There's a lot of space for us.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to be fighting.
lot of
Yeah,
beer drinkers
exactly.
in El
Yeah,
Yeah, there's cities
El Paso
like-
loves their beer, man. That's for sure. They love
Yeah,
it.
I mean we're just as big as cities like Santa Fe and Albuquerque and stuff like that, and they have like twice the amount of breweries that we do. So you know,
Yeah.
there's still room to grow for us,
Right on.
and we just gotta
Absolutely.
get El Pasoans out of that single beer mindset.
Bud Light.
Yeah,
Bud
get them out there to try different stuff. Like,
Jeez.
I'm not trying to be like a snob and just say, oh, like, you know, every once in a while I'll have Bud Lights. I'll drink a Michelob Ultra, but to go out there, you know, it's like if you go out to. I don't go to you guys don't go to McDonald's every day, do you? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah,
You
exactly.
guys want to try, you
different
know, a
stuff.
steak. You know, you guys want to go out there and you know get some sushi or something. And this is the sushi of the beer world.
There
If
you
you go.
If you're not
That's
just
a good
craving a
comparison.
That's
man.
there you go.
yeah, if you're not just craving a normal hamburger from McDonald's and you want something that's gonna give you a little bit of flavor, you know, come try us out or come try any of the other breweries out. We
Nice.
have anywhere up to 16, 17. We could have up to 20 different beers on tap. I mean, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah. But at a good time, you
At a
can
good
get there
time,
and
we
there's a
can
good
get up to
selection.
20 beers, but we have a lot of borrachos. So I say like around 14, 15, 16 beers at a time.
That's still a lot, man.
And that's a lot of different
Yeah.
styles, from light to dark, from bitter to sweet, and you have a lot of stuff to choose from. And
Do you don't have to get a full glass. I'm sure you have like little sample glasses that you can taste.
yeah, so even
little
before,
tasters.
even before you commit to a beer, we'll give you small samples where you can just like a little sip on it. And even from there, we have little 5-ounce glasses that we sell for like $2. Like if you don't want to, because there's some people that maple bacon beer. Like there's some people that can drink 1 or 2 pints, and there's that guy who's like, I really like it, but I want
Just
this.
a little bit. Yeah.
So
That's
you
a
know what
good
I mean?
idea.
Yeah.
That's probably me. Those are perfect for me.
Yeah, because some of these beers, it's like great flavor right in your mouth initially, but like eventually you're gonna be like, ugh, like
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's the sweetness,
I hear you.
or the baconness, or the in that particular beer, it was like the smoky bacon was like really coming through. So it was
That
like,
sounds
oh, this
actually
is like
pretty
breakfast,
tasty, yeah.
but I don't want to be eating breakfast.
It's like a good combination.
Yeah. So yeah, there's. I mean, definitely we have different sizes from little baby tastes to the 16s to the to the tall
22s.
glass.
The ones with the big old latches.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are to go though. So yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
Something we ask our business owners too. If someone walks into Blazing Tree and mentions, "Hey, I saw you on the broadcast," anything you can throw in, a 10% or whatever, something just to spice it up. If they mention that they saw it on
If
the
they
free
mention
podcast.
BroCast.
Yeah.
If they mention BroCast, let's see.
Put you on the
let's
spot.
see. What can we do?
Good.
We'll give, if it's not happy hour, I'll give you a happy hour pint.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, go.
Nice.
I'll be there this afternoon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so we have a happy hour as well. But if it's not happy hour and you
It
heard
will
me
be
here,
happy
There you go. Have to
Cool.
mention the BroCast. All right.
Cool, man. Sorry about the flies, man.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's everywhere.
And if you're our guest on the podcast, we will throw in a free fly swatter with every interview. Sorry about that, brother.
We're gonna go straight to the store right now to try to take
some
care of
fly
it.
traps. Man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But beat the summer heat by going to Blazing Tree, drinking an ice cold one, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining us again, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Mr. Adrian Gomez from Blazing Tree Brewery. We are the SignBroCast. Make sure to subscribe on the link below, and we are signing off.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Sign Bros is the place